Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to learn Chapter 11, A Look Inside the Body. Okay, in last chapter we had studied about the clothes. See, cloth is made from yarn. Yarn may be made from cotton, wool, etc. Clothes become dirty on being used. We must always wear clean clothes. Old clothes should not be thrown away. They can be reused. We see diversity in clothing. This all we had seen in last chapter. Okay. So now let's start with the new chapter. Students, we use the different parts of our body to do different kinds of work. Yes, we use our legs for walking, ears for hearing, hands for writing and doing other kinds of work, and eyes for seeing. We can thus say that we use our hands, legs, ears, and eyes for doing specific kinds of work. Yes, a part of our body which is used to perform a specific function is called an organ. Thus, our legs are our organ for walking, our ears are organ for hearing, our hands are organ for writing and doing other kind of work, and our eyes are organ for seeing. Understood? The organs that are on the outside of our body and which can be easily seen are called the external organs. Yes, for example, ears, nose, hands, legs, and eyes. Yes, the organs that they are make us aware of the situation around us are the sensory organs. Yes, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the skin are our sensory organs. Understood? See, next is internal organs. All the organs are not on the outside of the body. There are some organs that are situated inside the body. They are called the internal organs. They cannot be seen from the outside. There are many internal organs which help in the proper functioning of the body. The network of blood vessels is spread throughout the body. The blood flows through them continuously. The air that we breathe in is carried to all parts of the body through the blood vessels. The food after digestion is also carried to every part of the body through these blood vessels. Let's do an experiment. Take a glass jar filled with biscuits. Now, shake the jar vigorously and turn it upside down. What happens to the biscuits? The biscuits break into pieces. Yes, now take a packet of biscuit and shake it vigorously. What happened to these biscuits in the packet? Yes, packet remain as they are. Why does this happen? The biscuits in the packet were closely packed and did not move when shaken. Yes, hence they did not break. Just like the biscuits remain unshaken in the plastic packet, our internal organs also to remain in their places. No matter how much we move, this is because inside our body there are certain hollow space which protect the internal organs. There are hollow space in the head and the torso called cavities. The cavity inside the head is called cranial cavity. Okay, inside the torso there is cavity in the chest called the thoracic cavity. In the same way, the abdomen is divided into two cavities, the abdominal cavity and the pelvic cavity. Okay, now the esophagus. If we want to fill water in a drum which is at a distance from a tap, we attach a tube to the tap. In the same way, the food that we eat reaches our stomach with the help of a tube like internal organ. This called the esophagus. Okay, it is situated in the thoracic cavity. We use our mouth to eat food. Yes, the tongue helps us to identify the taste of the food. Yes, we eat, we chew food with our teeth. As we chew the food, our saliva mixes with the food and the food forms into moist ball which can now easily be swallowed. The swallowed food passes through the throat and eventually enters the stomach. The food begins to digest. After it enters the stomach, the internal organs that help in digestion of food are situated in the abdominal cavity. The food that is eaten is stored for some times in the organ called the stomach, which is in the abdominal cavity. The swallowed food is carried to the stomach through a tube like internal organ called the esophagus. The esophagus is also called the gullet. Yes, it is situated in the thoracic cavity. The wall of the esophagus is flexible, hence the swallowed food passes easily from throat to the stomach. The undigested food and unwanted part of the food is passed out through the anus in a form of feces. Okay. Now the food travels through pipe, yes, like pathway that start from mouth and ends in the anus. This pathway called an alimentary canal. It is approximately 9 meter long and it's made up of different number of internal organs. The esophagus is a part of the alimentary canal. Okay. The heart. Heart. The function of the heart is to keep the blood flowing through the blood vessels. The heart is an important internal organ. The heart is situated in the center of the thoracic cavity. A little to the left side, it is slightly bigger than a fist. Yes, the wall of the heart are also flexible. Now, let us do an experiment. Take a flexible plastic bottle and use ball pen refill. Make a small hole, yes, in the center of the lid of the bottle and fit the empty refill tightly through this hole. Fill the bottle with water and make sure that the lid with the refill attached to it fitted tightly on the bottle. Also ensure that most of the refill is inside the bottle and the small portion it project outside. Now hold the bottle with both the hands and press it lightly. Leave it loose. Again, press it, leave it, press it, leave it. Yes, we observe that when we press the bottle, the water flows out in a jet through the refill. When we let it go, water stops flowing out. From this, we understand that when we apply pressure to a liquid in a closed space, the liquid rushes out from wherever find out the leads. Okay. Now the heart contracts and relax alternately without stopping. Contraction is becoming smaller and relaxation is becoming larger again. As the heart contracts, the blood in the heart is pushed into the blood vessels. The heart therefore works like a pump, and at every contraction it pushes the blood further and further into the blood vessels. Each contraction of the heart is called a heartbeat. If you place your hand on the middle of a chest a little to the left, you can feel the throbbing of your heart due to the heartbeats. Okay, at the waist, there is a blood vessel that flows very close to the skin. If we place our finger there, we can feel the heartbeats. This is called the feeling the pulse. When we sleep soundly, the pulse becomes slower, but when we run very fast, our pulse becomes faster and we start panting and gasping for breath. Now, lungs. When we breathe, we take in our air through our nose. This air is supplied to the body through an internal organ called the lungs. Yes, we have two lungs situated in the thoracic cavity. One is to the left, yes, and the other one is to the right. The heart lies between the two lungs. A little to the left, there the left lung has a slightly depression. The right lung is slightly bigger than the left lungs. The air that we breathe is supplied to the lungs through a pipe like internal organ. This is called the windpipe. The windpipe further branches into two. Each branch is called the bronchus. When we breathe in air, the lungs expand the little. This makes our chest swallow up. When we breathe in the function of the heart and the lungs depend on each other, both are very important organs. They are situated in the thoracic cavity inside the rib cage made of bones. Yes, rib cage is made up of bones. Hence, they remain safe and secure. Now, the brain. The brain situated in a cranial cavity is our most important internal organ. It controls all that we do. The brain makes us aware of emotions like anger, happiness, sadness, etc. We are able to remember a poetry that we have learnt because it is registered in our brain. The work of remembering is called the memory. Similarly, the meaning of information collected by our sensory organ is also understood by the brain. Any injury to the brain can either disable a person for a life or even cause death. Hence, the brain needs to be totally protected. Yes, that's why there is a shell or a casing formed by the skull around the brain. In a case of head injury, the skull can get affected, yes, and causing injury to the brain. Hence, it is advised to wear helmet while riding on bikes or scooter. Okay, so have you understood, students? So, what we have learned today? The organs inside our body are called internal organs. Our body is structured in such a way that the internal organs remain safe within the cavities in the head and the torso. The esophagus carries the swallowed food from the throat to the stomach. This pipe is also called gullet. This is situated in the thoracic cavity. Now, the heart keeps the blood flowing through the blood vessels spread throughout the body. The heart is continuously contracting and relaxing. The contraction of heart help the blood vessel to push the blood further. The air that we breathe is supplied to the whole body to the lungs. The right lung is slightly bigger than the left lung. The heart and the lungs remain safe in the rib cage situated in the thoracic cavity. The brain is very important internal organ. The brain is placed safely in the skull, situated in the cranial cavity. The brain performs the function of controlling our movement, making us aware of our emotions and interpreting the information collected by our sensory organs. So, have you understood, students? Very good. Yes, stay safe, stay home. Thank you.